Okay, so very good afternoon to everyone. So we'll start this. The resource person will be joining soon as he has a meeting. So I will be taking means like few minutes means just to introduce systematic literature review and the process. Am I audible? The slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me start with a quotation like perfection is not attainable, but if you chase perfection, we can catch excellence. I think you must be knowing research is basically is a journey, and it's not a formula. That is the reason. So we always look at perfection. Even if you cannot catch this, then you can get excellence in that particular field. Second, to move on, the most powerful motivation is rejection in research. The time your publications or your methodology techniques are rejected, the more means like you can bounce back or you can have more findings in coming days. So as I have already told, research is not a formula, is a journey. So we have to take one step at a point. Talking about like the definition of research, I think most of you must be knowing the definition of research. So there are two terms. One is another is search. So if you ask me in very crude term, what do you mean by research? So for new students who are entering the field of research, so it's all about search again and again in creation of new knowledge. So these are very simple terms. Why you search again and again? That's the question. Okay. Then, like when we talk about scientific research, it is all about identifying research problem. What do you mean by problem? That is something issue or question which has to be addressed. And when I say research problem, something which is researchable. So that is why the focus of creation of new knowledge or scientific research from the researchers. Then third one is societal product. Fourth one is policy product. So these are the four things you have to keep in the mind when you are identifying your research product. I'm just trying to making a just a story like what should be the journey from your research problem till you fix your research objective. Try to understand this is the fast step usually researcher takes place, and in most so in between, like I said, when I say research, it is about creation of new knowledge. And the newness or the nobility or the originality of research is only possible if you go from journey of research problem till your you can say identifying your objective. For that, what exactly I will be doing, I will be looking at the best experts around the world who worked in that particular problem and given certain solution. So what is my work is like I have to bring all these experts, the quality experts, virtually into a room, and I will be asking my problem and they will be giving the answer. Whatever they answer they are not giving, so that is called as a research gap. On basis of research gap, I go for research objective. So this particular journey from research problem, getting your research gap is called as literature review. Okay. So what I said means you have to do scientifically. What I say scientifically means you want to solve the problem, and you want to say that the kind of work I am doing is something new, some novel thing, some creativity, innovativeness. That is possible if you know who are the people already work. Whatever work has been already done, I should not replicate. So like there are a lot of things in research. As I said, this is the research process. You have to define your research problem. Then what I have to do, I have to look into quality index search engine. Try to understand quality index search engine means like the kind of scientific stories or the research publications are done. So a quality check has been done, like Scopus, Web of Science. Okay, these are licensed version. So you have Dimensions, you have PubMed. So there are a number of means like index search engines are there, but you have to look into the best fit which is for you. Okay, so people usually in the state universities and other places they go to Google Scholar. So Google Scholar is not a quality search engine, because in case of Google Scholar anybody can put their article there. So there is no quality check that is this a predator article or this is a fake article or is this something indexed, and how can you look into these metrics like impact factor, quartile. Then you can look into many other SNIP, many other things you can look into. Okay, so that is why you have to look into these kind of things. So what I am trying to say, the first step that you have to get a quality search engine, then you have to develop your keywords, then search query, go to the index means like search engine. Then you get all these databases like bibliographic databases. First step you get bibliographic databases, then you have to filter these databases, which one is means like used for you, which one is not used for you. Then you have to work with these particular databases. So like like before you start your work, if you are from sciences or social sciences, so before you go to the lab or before you go to the this field, you can have best three stories which will give you the the highest citations in your life. That is one is bibliographic review or symptometric review. Second review which can give you, that is called as a SLR, which I think the resource person will be talking of, systematic literature review. Then there are a number of things which are coming newly, that is called as meta-analysis, meta-synthesis. These are the four kind of, you can say, review or kind of analysis which can be done before you start your work. So that if you go through this rigorous process, what will happen? It will not only enhance your, you can say, knowledge about that particular area, but you will be pinpointed to get your research gap. On basis of that, you develop your, you can say, you develop your hypothesis, your objective. Then you go to the field, collect the data, you do analysis, then you interpret and you write your thesis. This is the whole research process. But the mislink is most of the researchers in state universities, they don't do the fast step. So that is why there are a lot of problems in the means the journey is not hassle free when you go to the field. So if you go through these processes or the means in a very organized manner, like you have a hassle free journey once you reach your objective. Then why I think I have already told you this research problem. So there are many steps to identify research problem, like outline area of interest, choose a topic, narrow your topic, identify research problem. So many things can be done. Like it's all about if you go through literature. So before I identify my research problem, I am a very new researcher. What I do, I can go for a scoping review. Means what are the scopes of this particular research problem around the world. So I have to look into, like if I'm looking for a job in academics, so I have to look into what will be the kind of citation I'm getting, what will be my H index and everything. I have to think of something which is called as transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and then we have to look into, so is these stories the global people are interested, is this story some industry is interested, all these things will be coming up if you go for a scopus kind of review. Then I think I have already talked about research objective. This is an action plan. Try to understand a research problem till you get your research objective. So most of the works are, this is called mental process. But the real thing which will happen, you go to the lab and do the experiment, or you go to the, means you can say open ground and you do observations or take qualitative and do quantitative analysis. But research is an organized investigation of problem where investigator attempts to get solution to the problem. Then I am going to literature review. I think he will be talking more on that. So it is called as LRP, literature review process. So if I ask what is a literature review is all about, so a literature review is a critical analysis of literature or research related to specific topic or research question. Like as a researcher, I should be analyze everything critically. It's not be analyzed like somebody who is doing his graduation or post graduation. Like your critical thinking should be improved. So that is why when you are doing any literature LR, so it's all critical analysis. Whenever you read a paper, you can look from different angles. What are the positive? What is the negative? What are the limitations? What are the gaps which I am looking for? Or research related to specific topic or research question. A literature review is an extensive critical review of the exact literature on research topic. So another definition is literature review provide the reader with a picture of state of knowledge and main question in the subject area being investigated. A research review contains a critical analysis and integration of information from number of sources as well as consideration of gaps in literature and possibility of future research. When I say LR, it is four components. So this is bibliometric or symptometric review. Second one is systematic literature review. Third is meta-analysis. Fourth is meta-synthesis. These are the four, once if you integrate, it becomes LR. Okay? And you have to decide which one to use, which one not to use according to your research problem. These are the steps of literature review. I think at least you have to give a year in an LR process. Okay, so that you get a three base stories of your life also. So if you go to any means function review or collaborate, you check so which journals are having high impact factor. See, it is all review journals. Okay, that gets the highest impact factor. So what I'm trying to say, when you are doing a literature review, so first thing which you have to put into define your research problem question, like you have to what disintegrate your research problem into 2 or 4 research questions. So from the research questions, so the idea of inclusion and exclusion is coming up. Because when you go for a bibliometric databases in your thematic area, so there is a chance you get more than 10,000 databases. So how to deal with these 10,000 databases? Then you have to look into the one which is to be included, which is not to be included, that is excluded. So the research questions can give you an idea. So like what is to be added, which are what is not to be added. The second part is identify relevant source terms. As I said, it's a keyword. While writing a research paper, your title, your abstract, your keyword has to optimize with the search engine. So if I want to get a citation, I have to optimize it. But here your objective is like, this is a algorithm. The Scopus, Web of Science, or Index search engine, these are algorithms. When you type these keywords, they do similar test in the databases and get these relevant articles. So the more accurate, relevant keyword you develop or search query you develop, so the more relevant article will be getting, or lesser number of databases you will be getting. So in process of filtrations, you don't require much time to do that. But if you are using a very generalized terms or something which is very broad in nature, so that is the reason that you get more databases, then it becomes a difficult. It may take 2 to 3 months to filter only your databases. If you are working with some bibliometric data analysis for the articles which is found all over the world. So identifying relevant search term in scoping search terms in related review. Okay. Then develop your search plan. What I am saying, you have to develop a search query. Search query means like you use Boolean algebra to connect these keywords. Like, when I develop a keyword, there will be a synonym word. So I have to use or. Okay. So if the word is different from other word, then I have to use and. Sometimes you can use complement, supplement, and there are a number of things which you have to play with that. Then taste and refine your research. Again, what I'm trying to say, you go to a search engine. Obviously, Scopus and Web of Science are paid one. But what you have to do, you go back to any of the national institute like IIT, Central University, just go to their library for a few days, or you just drop a mail to them, give your keyword. But if you go to physically, or if you have a Scopus Web of Science ID, so what you can do, you have to taste, then you refine your search. What I'm saying, it's not a one-way kind of thing. What you have to do, you go to the Scopus and Web of Science, you just type these keywords. When you type these keywords, you get all the databases. You have to check if there is unwanted articles, more unwanted articles. If it goes more than 10%, so you have to again refine your search query or search terms. So that you get whatever you are looking for, because my objective is to get the best people who are working in my field or giving solution. So if I use very generalized source terms or search queries, so there is a chance you miss these people. So that is why you have to be clear, concise, and you have to refine. You have to taste these things inside the indexed search engine. Then select relevant databases. As I said, you can, if you are from social science, go for Scopus. If you are from science, you go for this Web of Science, or you can merge these two databases. Again, you can go to PubMed. So there are a number of search. So you have to check about these databases. Then you run the search. Then get these document and manage these search result. Okay. So while managing these search result, the first query you make a bibliometric symptometric analysis from the bibliometric databases. I said when I say bibliometric databases, it means the databases which are available freely. Any paper which is published, dated digital object identifier or DOI number, if it is indexed in any journal. So what they do, the search engine is a basically algorithm. They just pull these databases like your title, your appellations, then your abstract, your keyword, your reference. So these things are means like pulled from these DOI or the publisher, and they are arranged in column and row matrix in different format, like CSV format. There may be VIP text format. There are different format. They are arranged. So I have to bring these databases, then I have to work with number of softwares. Basically, why we do bibliometric analysis or symptometric analysis, you can have an idea what is the trend and pattern of research happened in that particular research problem in last 30 years or last 50 years. Then you get an idea, so what are the keywords which are used more, which are the keywords which are at the periphery. So what is the time series analysis? So you can play with that. There are a lot of matrix you can like author productivity matrix. You can go for network analysis. A lot of things can be done in the bibliometric or symptometric analysis. Okay, and what I'm trying when we are developing bibliometric or symptometric analysis, try to choose words which are very means like transdisciplinary. But what I am talking about, if you are from business, like the terms like AI, business models, then sustainable development goal, climate change crisis. So these are the very generic terms which can be part of these bibliometric analysis. Means what I'm trying to say, if you are looking for the citation, these terms will make your article optimize in the search engine. When somebody is searching this article, your article will be available there, so that people will be getting that, and they will be giving you more citation. What I am trying to show, like if you go to Europe, if you go to USA, or you to South Asian countries, they don't go to Google Scholar. They go to the Scopus and Web of Science, and they search with the short story. So it is all about the similarity test being done. It's not like haphazard searching or random searching in Google Scholars. So this is the importance of literature review in research. Like it provides the interpretations of the existing literatures, helps in calculating the impact of the latest information, bring out dialectics of contradictions between various thoughts. Like there will be compare, contrast. So a lot many things. There may be narratives which will be maybe developed from social science, or there are many hypotheses, many philosophies. You can see how they are counteracting each other. So research gap, as I said, the objective of doing LR is to get the research gap, and from the research gap, I will be developing my action plan. That's the research objective. Then indicate the current research place in scheme of a particular field, provide information for relevance and coherence. You can look into whatever research is I am going to do. So what will happen after 5 years? When I do my PhD, you just think of you should be updated yourself with all these skills, the programmings, and you should visualize what are the changes which is going to happen in the next 5 years, and where I am putting myself. Then I will be looking into job. You see, if you are just a PhD scholar, maybe after 5 years, so the kind of economy will be knowledge-based economy. And if you see what will be the type of industrial revolution, that is industrial revolution 5. So it is quite different from 4. So in case of industrial 4, so the interaction was man with the machine, but industrial revolution 5, it's machine to machine. So I think more AI, machine learning, these will be taking over a number of jobs, so that we have to train with whatever field you are. Even if you are from language, you have to train with all these things. And if you are trained, that is the unique identity. So then you can get some advantage while looking for jobs. Then these are the different types of literature review. I think the one which will be discussed thoroughly, that is called a systematic literature review by Professor Manoj Das. Then you can see, so there are a number of reviews, and it all depends on the number of the kind of disciplines you are looking. So these are not same type of review which you can do. That is the reason I said there are 4 types of review. You decide which one to do. So there is an argumentative review. It analyzes the previous work to support or refute an already established. Mostly this is done in philosophy, social science. What they do, they study a number of stories, then they develop some narratives, then they can go against, put some scientific kind of evidence for and against. In integrative review, sometimes what happens, like, integrative review, you synthesize the secondary result. Okay. In social science, what do? We synthesize many people and make a new story. And if you go to the science people, they do meta-analysis, like clinical kind of thing. They use the result of the metadata and create another story. Then this is historical review. The researcher investigate about the evolution of matter while going into historical context. Then there is a methodological review. Sometimes you go with the development of methodology or integrative review, synthesizing the secondary piece of information, which is helpful for your thesis. Then there is a systematic review, which I think we'll be discussing more. SLR, a systematic literature review, better organized review format than others. It is the two type, meta-analysis and meta-synthesis. Then helps in evaluating established theory, that is theoretical review, give an insight into the research work. So when I say SLR, what is systematic literature review? Okay, that is also called a systematic review. So when I say what's the definition? A rigorous summary of all primary research evidence relevant to a focus question. Very simple. It's a rigorous work. It's not a haphazard or random type of work usually a researcher do. So it's a tight, detailed summary of whatever evidences or the primary evidences are available related to your research questions. Okay. When I say focus question means specific question, reviewing evidences and synthesize the finding. So you just try to understand when I say reviewing, it is critical appraisal. It's not just reading some paper and taking some pays, using some AI softwares, doing some spamming work, altering some word, paraphrasing it. It's not that. It's most critical analysis. Means it's what others cannot see, you can see that. You say this work is has some problem with methodology. These work has no relevance when it comes to replicate in my area. So these kind of means can be reviewed done, but saying this will not work. Okay, you have to give evidences. You have to give scientific evidences so that people will take your evidences as some kind of like narratives that whatever you are saying is correct or accurate. Then synthesizing findings, creating some new form from a separate element. These are all isolated kind of stories are there. So I have to think what is the linkage between these stories. I have to synthesize the finding, means I have to create some new stories out of it. Then the readers will be interested to read it. A review of research literature using systematic and explicit accountable method. So what I am saying that you have to follow some kind of already means like quality methodology which has been already fixed, clear understandable statement of all relevant details, then undertaken according to a fixed plan or system or method. When I say SLR, these are the things which you have to keep in the mind. It is a rigorous summary. This is the first point. It's not a shortcut. It's a kind of the means you develop your understanding in your field. Then you have to be focused on your question. Then you have to review the evidences. You have to synthesize the finding. Then if you want to publish it, it should be systematic and explicit. Means the methodology not be controversial or not be questioned. So these are means what is the difference between systematic review and literature review. Definition: high level overlooking primary research and focus question that identify, select, synthesize, and appraise all high quality research evidence relevant to that question. When I say literature review, it is a qualitatively summarizing evidence on a topic using informal or subjective method to collect and interpret studies. So when we say LR, so you can use Google Scholar, do some random or haphazard search, and you get some articles, and then you go writing this. But when I say systematic review, you are trying to get the best people in your field by using a rigorous method and following some methodological path. Okay, so that is some kind of evidence which, if you want to publish, so many people are ready to publish that. But if you go with the LR, there may be many questions while you are defending your synopsis, you are defending thesis. What is new in this research? Then the researcher used to, this is the only thing I got from the Google Scholar. It doesn't mean there are not other people who are working. So that is why don't use Google Scholar or random haphazard kind of literature review. Okay. Then the goal is to answer a focused clinical question or eliminate biasness, provide summary or overview of topic. So clearly define answerable clinical question recommended using PICO. There are a number of guidelines, can be general topic or specific question, pre-specified eligibility criteria, systematic search strategy, assessment of validity of finding, interpretation, presentation of result, reference list. But in this case, you will have introduction, method, discussion, conclusion, and reference list. So number of authors, maybe 3 or more, 1 or more. So timeline 1 to year, average 18 months, week 2 months. Requirement thorough knowledge of the topic, performance, search of all relevant databases, statistical analysis resource for meta-analysis, understanding of topic, perform search for 1 or more databases. So connect this is practicing clinician to high quality evidence, support evidence-based practices, provide summary for literature on topic. Like when I talked about SLR, LR means like if you are doing some work, means like something which is practical or something which is clinical or something which is scientific. So you go with the SLR. But when you are doing a literature review, theoretically you can go with that, but this will be more qualitative in nature. So the people can question you. Then you have to develop your own narratives. Then these are the types of systematic review. When I say systematic review, a review that aims to comprehensively identify all relevant studies to answer a particular question and assess the validity. So when I say this thing, you just keep in the mind when I'm doing a systematic review, I've already told you it's like a quality review. Okay. When I say narrative analysis, sometimes used to refer a systematic review that synthesize individual study narratively rather than means of meta-analysis. Like somebody from social science, somebody from experimental science, or you can say clinical science. So their analysis are different because one will be more statistical, quantitative. Another will be more that is qualitative. Means the one which is working in systematic review from science, they will be working with numbers. Okay, someone who is working with they will be working more on the text. So that is why it is called as narrative analysis, not meta analysis. So narrative analysis and meta analysis are opposite to each other. So this involves systematically extracting, checking, and narratively summarizing information on their method and result. So in case of a meta analysis, you work with a number. Like there is a clinical research has been done. Just take example of COVID-19. I have done like 100 samples for some kind of vaccinations. So like I want means if you want it to pass the vaccine, so what you have to do, you require 1500 samples. So what I have to do, I have to look into other people who have done, like I have to collect 1500 samples result from other, and then I use the statistics. I come up with a new story. That is a meta-analysis because I am working with the numbers. But when I come up with the narrative summarizing, so it is working with the content, working with the text. So there are a number of softwares also, like in case of meta-analysis, CMA, even if SPSS 28, number of softwares are there. But if you go to the narrative summarizing, there you can work with the text, animations, videos. So there are a number of softwares like Atlas EIE. A number of things are also there. Then conceptual review, a review that aims to synthesize area of conceptual knowledge that can contribute to a better understanding of all these issues. The objective of this synthesis is to provide a review of all literature given in the field, including the main idea, models, and debates. So if you are doing a concept work, if you are developing a theoretical framework of research, you can go for a conceptual review. You can also go for a rapid review. A literature review carried out often systematically, but within a limited time, sometimes week or couple of months, with a restriction on the scope of research. For example, restricted year or a country. Sometimes we request something in urgent, so you can go for a rapid review. You can also go for a realistic review approach to review studies, which involves synthesize individual study with a view to produce generalized theory rather than synthesizing outcome across the study. Basically, what you do, you try to synthesize all these things and you develop some theory. Scoping review, a review sometimes carried out in advance of full systematic review to scope the existing literature, that is to assess the type of study carried out in the date, where they are located. This can help you refining the question of all full review with estimating the resource that will be needed. So if I am doing a systematic literature review for my thesis, so before that I can go for a scoping review. So there is a chance you can refine your research question, maybe your research problem. Then you can have an idea exactly. So what is has happened in the last 30 years? So what is the projection in the next 30 years? So what will be the best review which should I go for? Then critical review terms sometimes to describe the literature review that assess a theory or a hypothesis by critically examining the method and result of the primary studies, often with a wealth of background and contextual material, though not using formalized approach for systematic review. So why I am discussing this type of review, as I said, means like different disciplines or different problems require different types of review, and all these types of review nobody can use every type of review, but you, depending upon your objective, okay, the kind of research problem you have to think of what kind of review I am going to do. Then I think I have already talked about these things. Then I'm just going to meta-analysis. This is a new thing coming up after COVID-19. So there are a lot of papers on meta-analysis. And like high impact factor papers are coming up. Anybody from science or doing some clinical research, even if from social science, they can go for meta-analysis. That is combining the result of individual study with a statistical method. So what we are working with the metadata. Metadata means you are working with the result or the statistical result. You bring all these statistical result, you require only 9 paper. So you integrate this paper, you come up with a new story. Okay. Can 18-month-old infant extract isolated word form from natural speech? This is a question which is being asked, and you go and search for 9 to 10 article. You bring the result. Okay. Then you use some software. So you use some forest kind of graph. There are a lot of graphs you can put up, and you can make a story. And if you go to the people who are doing clinical research, number of meta-analysis papers are coming up, and it's very easy to publish meta-analysis. You have to just get 2-3, you can say collaborator, you can write a meta-analysis paper. So meta-analysis versus meta-synthesis. Meta-analysis means this is more quantitative one. Meta-synthesis means this is a narrative one. You can integrate number of theory, you can come up with a different narratives, or you can go for these kind of thing. When I say meta-analysis, it's a Bayesian network, or it's a quantitative one. When I say meta-synthesis, it can be mixed one, like meta-ethnography, all meta-synthesis. These are all qualitative. Okay. So there are a number of meta-analysis being done. What exactly you have to do? You go back, you go back to Google Scholar, and you search the number of meta-analysis or meta-synthesis paper. Then you can see, so what are the kind of softwares, what are the processes, and number of materials like demos are available in Google. Go and type this, you can learn yourself. It doesn't require much science or technology for that. And there are a number of open source softwares are there. Also paid softwares are there, which you can get it and you get the result. Then you can also collaborate with number of meta-analysis research which is being done in Odisha also. Number of people are doing. Then systematic review versus meta-analysis, that identify critic relevant research studies, identify a relevant research study using defined protocol. So discuss factor that may explain heterogeneity, but in case of meta-analysis, statistically test study heterogeneity and investigate explanatory variables, synthesize the knowledge, statistically summarize the result to obtain an overall estimate of treatment effects. You can do both the things. SLR and meta-analysis can be done side by side. Okay, but the issue is you have to get the statistical result. So that is why more quantitative kind of analysis can give you both stories. And if you are doing a qualitative one, go for a systematic review and narrative analysis. Then this is the step in SLR process. As I said, the first step, as I said, you have a research question. So you have to disintegrate your research questions into research problem into number of research questions. Okay. Then you have to define all these things, or you develop a framework of your research. Then on basis of that, you develop the keywords. Okay. Keywords are basically both these people use for when we talk about keyword in search engines, so the keywords either in the title, in the abstract, or in the keywords. So these three things you have to check. What are the words which I have to put or I have to search? Then you have to look into relevant databases. As I said, Scopus can be used for social science research. Web of Science can be used for science research. Even if you can use, if you are from science, you can use Scopus and Web of Science. If you are from medical field, you can go for PubMed. There are a number of other search engines. There are free search engines like Dimensions. Okay, so there are a number of search engines, but you have to look into the quality part. So then again, you have to develop a search query. As I said, use Boolean algebra to join these keywords. Then you go and the exclusion inclusion criteria, you have to develop it. Then you start the search process. As I said, exclusion, inclusion means if you go to the database, like what time period you have to take. So what country you are going to take. What are the type of, like there are number of like there are research articles from the journals, there are book chapters, there are conference proceedings, there are a number of things are there, what to include, what to not include. You can look into the researcher. I am going for one the Indian researcher from this time to this time. You can also pick some number of things you can do, or I want these article from these particular subject. You can go for these criteria are available. Then you go and do the search process, get the data. Then you have to check what format I have to do analysis, accordingly get the data. Some of the softwares in bibliometric analysis like RStudio, VoiceViewer, then there are a number of softwares, they support particular format like text format, CSV format, BibTeX format, Mendeley, EndNote, number of formats are there in the search engine. You have to really, whatever softwares you are going to work, so you have to check into that. Then you go and do data analysis. The first step, you go with a bibliometric or symptometric analysis. Second, if you are from social science, go for systematic literature review. With then third, you go for a meta synthesis, or you can go for narrative stories. So if you are from science, go for symptometric analysis. Then you go for SLR, systematic literature review, meta analysis. So as I said, you can go for three best stories in your field. So the objective is not making good stories. These three stories, when you finish your PhD, you can get more than 1,000 citations. Like there are a number of people's, like while they finish their PhD, they have more citations like than professors in Odisha. Like there are people who have more than 2,000 citations from the starting their research till they get their degree. Okay. So when you will be looking for jobs, if you go to IIT, IIM, or the central university, they will be looking more into these outputs rather than they look into your qualifications or something like that. Or they will be testing your skills. How much means what is the kind of work ethics you are following. Then this is, I have already talked about, like identify a research field, then generate a research question. I'm just repeating. Then create a protocol like Prisma, then evaluate the relevant literature, then investigate the source of the answers, collect data as per the protocol, then data extraction, then critical analysis of the result, then interpretations, then you write the start conducting statements, concluding statements, or you write your paper. These are the 10 steps for SLR. Then I think you must be knowing research question. A research question provide a focus for investigation. Basically, when we put research question and just create a boundary kind of thing. Like this is the limit where I have to look into. It will be more focused one. It will not be generalized one. When you talk about research, you should be more focused rather than be broader or generalized. A research question clearly define a significant area of interest which require investigation. A research question is the fundamental core of a research project study, a review of body of literature. So it focuses the study, determine the methodology, and guide all stages of inquiry, analysis, and reporting. So as the research, the systematic process of collecting, analyzing, that is the information in order to increase our understanding of phenomena about which we are concerned or interested. So this is research question, so it should be final. When I say research question, it should be feasible, like you should, according to your expertise. So you should go something research problem which is feasible, okay, or develop a research question which is doable. Then it should be interesting, okay. It should be means like it not only create curiosity inside you, like like the people who will be reading your paper, so that you have to create some curiosity so that they read your whole text. Then it should be novel, like right now the people means we talk about more innovations, creativity. So it's about the originality. So when we talk about all these things, so then your research question should be something different, something many people will be interested. Then it should be ethical. You have to follow the high standard of ethics. People in social science research, if you do certain research, it is not publishable. The reason is the outside India's researcher, they don't believe our ethical practices. They see that the people who go to the field, they go for data cooking. They stand below a tree, create many data out of them. So that is why these are just some mental creations of the researcher. So they think these are all important things. Again, this is relevant. What I'm saying, if you're looking for a citation, something which is going to change, okay, like some technology which is right here, maybe in the next 50 years, maybe next 5 years, it doesn't have a relevance. Then what will happen in the 5 years? You will be getting citation, but after 5 years, you will be not getting citation. So that is why the relevance. It's about the relevance not only in terms of time, but also in terms of space. Like the relevance will be not like very small group of readers will be reading. It is about like many researchers around the world will be reading. So that is why while developing or disintegrating your research problem to research question, specify the population of interest relevant to scientific community, potential for future research, add knowledge to the field. What I'm trying, when you identify your research problem, consult with the best experts around the world. So if any changes can be made. So these are all crafting and drafting kind of things. Okay. So that will make you a difference. As I said, research is not a formula, it's a journey. And every steps you take, that is a unique experience you get. Okay. And other thing, like, the day you start enjoying your work, like you are in the right track. There is no shortcut in these things, and everybody's journey is different. Don't compare with anyone. Okay, like don't compare with somebody who is doing good quality of getting good publications, good quality publications. I cannot compare my journey with his or her journey. My journey is different, her journey is different. I have to enjoy it, but the end of the day, if I do very rigorously, systematically, what will happen. At one point you will start enjoying, and what you will be enjoying, the creations you are doing, or the new things you are bringing into the scientific world, societal world, or you are really making difference in these particular art systems, or in your academia, or in your peer review. That is possible if you become innovative at the starting point only. So you cannot be innovative, you go with your objective. The problem with the means like majority of the researcher in India, why they don't publish, they straight away go with the objective before doing all these things. Like if you go with the objective, what your supervisor or like what you think that will be done without doing all this literature review, you are missing the fast steps, or missing the train also. So when you just think of to add innovations in your objective, it's almost impossible. Okay, so that is the reason these are all interlinked journey. Okay, so this is the foundation journey. If you have a problem with foundation, you will not have a hassle-free journey in coming days. Then these are the type of research questions. There are a number of research questions you can formulate. Like there can be descriptive questions, there can be comparative questions, relation, cause and effect, and then exploratory questions, predictive questions, interpretive questions. There are a number of types of research which goes on in different disciplines. So if you are like exploring something, you don't know what will be the result. So there are certain researches where their explorations has to be done. So you have to put like that. There are some which is predictive also. Like if you are doing forecasting, a lot of things can be like these are the different types of questions. Pattern will be different. So it is all depend on what is the type of journey you are looking, how you are making the your journey interesting. Then this is the characteristics of a research questions. This is limited to a single problem. Try to understand, as I said, disintegrate your research problem, that may be 1 and 2 research problem, into 4 research questions. So every research question that is a single problem has to be translated into research question. And in case of research question, you are putting a boundary. You are making your work more focused. And second is provide comprehensive and detailed result. Should be able to find the answer using data collections, then should be relevant and realistic, should be resolvable within the time limit and other restrictions, reflect your chosen field of study. These are all things, because like it all depend upon you. So if you want to make your research transdisciplinary, or you will be doing in a very small focus group. If you are doing a very small focus group, the kind of citation you will get in less as compared to someone who is in your field doing some transdisciplinary research. something which you link with the one, like, if you are in the management, you link with the SDG. Okay, you link with climate crisis. So there are many people around the world. These are very common terms which are being used, and this is the kind of optimizations you have to do while writing your papers. Then steps to write questions. If you are trying to translate your research problem and disintegrate your research problem into research question, select an interesting topic. Okay, do preliminary research on the topic, consider your audience, then ask questions, start your research. What I'm trying to say, like, uh, the thing which I have discussed in my first slide. So four things you have to keep in the mind. One is scientific stories. Who are your readers, from whom you are writing these, means you are doing this research. Is it for the scientific world, which is a recipe for my academic career? The second one, is it for the industrial product, or you can say there's an intellectual property which I am looking for. Third thing, somebody from social science or somebody who is doing action oriented research. Is it from the society, because there are number of deaths which is happening, number of changes which is happening due to climate crisis and a lot of things. Am I doing for that? That will be a societal product. Am I looking to create impact on the policy product? I have to convince the bureaucrats, the policymakers, so that they have to make the changes and number of things can be done. So accordingly, you have to fix your question. Then you start your research. Okay. So number of things has to be integrated in these particular thing. Then a good research questions require a judgment to be made. Is it global or local importance? Allow for a debate between. You have to just think of, if I am putting a research question, so how many people will be for, against, or contrast, or something, that allow for answer to be middle ground or to be synthesized different. So when you are putting a research question, try that there is a space where you can integrate both the people, for and against kind of evidence. So it's kind of something you go with a middle path, so that you get more citations, because both the people will be interested to read your paper. A simple one idea rather than many can be answered with the research available to the learner in the world limit a lot. Really interested the learner. So these are things which you have to ask yourself before translating your research problem to research question. I think these are the number of research questions which has been put. I am not going into details. So I think I have just given you ample of ideas how to do that. Then I will show you a few of the search. I think still the research person has not joined. Maybe his important meeting with the director is going on. So like, let me take few questions right here, then we'll go to the next one. And Raz, can you give a call to Dr. Manoj Das and check if he is available? So any questions, anyone? Then we will continue. Any questions, anyone, from anyone till whatever we discussed?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Biswaranjan Baraj. My question is, how many minimum number of papers are required to conduct meta-synthesis?
Like in case of theory, only three theories are required to do a metasynthesis, minimum. Because you are synthesizing the meta kind of thing, you just require only three theories to do that. Okay. I hope you have got the answer. Vishwa? Hope you got the answer, I think. Okay, any other questions from anyone?
Yes, I got. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
So how to find the keywords?
As I said, you have to look into your literature, means like research problem. So your problem will have number of keywords. First step, you have to look what are the keywords which is linked to the research problem. That's the step one. So you write in 2 to 3 sentence. Then what you have to look into? You have to look into, so what are the synonym of these keywords? Okay. So you go to any search engine, maybe Google Scholar, you type, you can find the synonym. Or you can use AI to get your synonyms. Once you get your synonyms, so what these are all kind of things. Then what you have to do? Then you have to link these keywords. You have to just think of Boolean algebra. So which one will be or which one be and? Like which one will a combination of these two things or something like that. So that is how you develop your search query. So the step one will be like develop the different type of keywords which is connected with my you can say with my research problem. Step one. Step two, get the synonym word using the search engine or anything you like. Then what you have to do, use Boolean algebra for the search query. Then you go to the databases, you check your search query is working or not. If not work, then you have to change the query. Then what you have to do, you have to use the criteria inclusion and exclusion policy to get all these relevant documents in your field.
Okay.
Any other?
Yeah, I have one question. I'm Viswaranjan Baraj. This when we search and then normally we search in this we develop the keywords in English and we search accordingly. But there are many papers where might be in Spanish, Portuguese, German, or Japanese language. So are those included or excluded because of language barrier? Am I audible? Hello.
What happened?
Am I audible?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say you, like while you are going for a search query, so what you have to do, you have to put whatever language you want. If you want all the languages, you can put there. Okay, they will be translating and getting you all these documents. So it's very difficult to translate all these Spanish and all these things. Okay, so you have to check how many number, what is the percentage of these articles are there. If it is relevant, then you have to use a translator to translate these things in English, then you can use in your literature review. But these inclusion exclusion criteria, so there is a option you go for English language or all other language. So according to the databases which is available, from there you can filter it or you can include it. Okay, if you include, like if there is a relevant article there, if you don't want to miss these things, what you can do, you have to use a translator, translate into from Spanish, French, Portuguese into English. Then you go for this analysis, because you cannot write these things means like Spanish, or you cannot read that. Okay, so that is why you have to come up with the English language. Is that okay?
Right. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so if you don't have a question, so what I can do, so let me go to the, let me complete. Okay, when we talk about this thing, this is the one which is the first step, like literature search first. So what has been done? What can you say that is new? So why we do LR search? Like what kind of work has been done? So what are the new things inside it? Be thorough in your search, a high sensitive, low specificity search. And this is the literature search strategy. Okay, so someone was asking, so you follow these process. So define the main research question. So from the research question, so define the keywords, define the search string, define the search engine, string refinement, search string execution, extraction of answer to the related search question, selection of paper, okay, complete reading and quality checklist, selection of paper that is stage 2 analyzed by the introduction and conclusion, selection of paper analyzed by title, abstract, then define inclusion exclusion criteria and download this. What I am saying, this is the whole process. You develop your means you translate your research problem to research question. Second, you develop your keyword, then you define your search string, then you define what kind of search engine you require, then you go for the means if there is more unwanted material is coming off, refine it, then you go for execution. Then from there again you have to filter the data. So again, once you filter, you can filter according to your research question. If you are doing a bibliometric analysis, it's more the generalized one. If you are doing a systematic literature review, you have to get the one which is very relevant to you. Or if you are doing a meta-analysis, the relevant article should be taken. So once it is taken, then you go and do analysis and write your paper. Then the literature searching process is not exact science but an art. As I said, it has to, you can cross check, you can do some kind of hit and trial method to get the best. So try to think the process as a journey, not a destination. So that is why, so there is no limit. If you search again and again, things will be different. If you change the keyword, things will be different. But if the same keyword is used with the same thing, the answer should be same. Okay, because it's a very dynamic thing. If you just think of, if I am publishing a paper in a biblo right now, maybe after 6 months the data has changed. So then the reviewer will ask me, so you update your data again, you have to start from the scratch. So that is like if I'm writing a biblo paper, it takes another 6 months, or I submit within a year. So what will happen? There will be lot many data are there. So the whole thing will be changing off in your network analysis and all sort of things. So that is why, so it's basically, this is not a science but an art. But here you have to just think of like same search query used for same time period, the amount of databases should be same. So if it is different, so you have a problem while you are searching them. Then source the literature to gather the works of the scholars who have addressed your research question, save time, work with the librarian. So like it gives a big picture, such broad concepts, like these are the traditional one being done. So develop a search strategy, define your keyword. That is, I've already told you, it is very important to use targeted keyword, break up the topic you are researching into main concept, then define keywords for such concepts. This is the literature search, which I think we have published a paper in bibliometric analysis on open education resource, which we followed. I am just repeating first one, the search. Then this is the keyword. I think we retrieved the keyword article related to OER. Then we narrow down OER literature, select only research article. So we don't go for review paper, book chapter, conference proceeding. Then we finalized by using the filter method. Then we go for bibliometric analysis, like using VoiceBeer, bibliometrics, like research trend, then distribution of research subjects, most preferred journals, most cited articles. Then this is core keywords, most probably authors, appellation, institutions, and country. So if you go to Google Scholar, you type this thing, I think you will get a paper that is on open education resource and bibliometric analysis. So this is all this is the step we formed. So gathering, like when you go to the databases like Web of Science, you try to understand the structures or the algorithm inside Web of Science is more structured as compared to Scopus. So when you merge these two databases, number of information will be missing. So what will happen if you are merging it? Your research will be narrowed down. So if you are using a single databases like Web of Science, which is more structured, you get a lot of databases, even if in Scopus also. So you have to decide, I have to go for merging or multiple databases or a single databases. Then gathering, that is data mining using search query in Web of Science core collection. Then you have to do manual pricing, means you have to read these title, abstract, keyword, and then you decide to include or not. That is final data sample. Then what you do, you go for bibliographic data. That is the quantitative analysis of scientific productions of appellations. Then you go for scientific maps and network. That is research mapping using co-citations, bibliographic coupling. Then scoring, that is the computing of ranking score for each paper. Then reviewing, like review of top 3 papers per category assigned. So these are things which you can do while means in the LR journey. The literature searching process, I think I've already talked about. This is how you go, define your research topic, then keyword and synonym, combine these keyword, then assess corpus and Web of Science, review the search result, then citation tracking, then save and download the result, then stay updated. If you are going for SLR, you have to read the whole text, you have to download the papers, the narrow down kind of databases. Then steps for building search strategy. As someone was asking, formulate the search question, identify the key concept, develop the search term, pre-text terms, develop search terms, controlled vocabulary terms, search field, phrase searching, wildcard and proximity operator, Boolean operator, search limit, pilot search strategy, monitor its development, final search strategy, selection of databases, adopt search syntax for different databases. So the Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed, the syntax are quite different. So that you have to again refine accordingly. So there are a number of demos or videos are available in YouTube. You can go, you can do yourself. It doesn't require much kind of things for doing all these things. Then you identify your research topic, as we have already talked, like choose a clear, concise research topic that defines the scope of your study, make sure it is well defined, specific to generate relevant result, the impact of social media on mental health among teenagers. That can be a title of your, you can say, of your thematic area of research. Then identify keywords, like, I'm just giving a practical example. The keywords, like I am using social media, mental health, and teenager. This is the keywords from the concept 1, concept 2, concept 3. Then I am going for synonym, related terms. I have concept 1, social media, online platform, social network site, internet based communication, mental health, psychological well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being. Then teenager, you can see this is how you have to move. Okay, these are the synonym words. And these synonym words also you can go and type in Google Scholar, you can find all these synonym words. Or you can use ChatGPT to get the synonym words also, no problem. Then index terms or subject heading. So index terms are used by some major databases to describe the content of each published article using a controlled vocabulary. Okay, like MESS databases, means you have to just think of, so what are the means if certain terms are indexed differently inside the journal, that particular things you can put into the search query. Then search field, I am just showing you Scopus and Web of Science. When you go to the Scopus, so as I said, these are all algorithm. Their work is simply, you see there is a number of options in Scopus in the left hand side. So the keywords which will be matching with the article title, abstract, or keyword, that particular article will be available. In case of Web of Science, you see this is topic, okay, title, author. So this is little different. So what I'm saying, you may choose to sort the free text in terms of title, abstract, and keyword, okay, or choose a source field descriptor that searches at least the title and abstract field. So according to you, in case of Google Scholar, so there is an option like that. But Google Scholar is not a structured databases. But in case of Web of Science and Scopus, these are structured databases and these are quality indexed databases. So that is why these are the databases which everybody believe that there is a quality check or validations done around the world. So if you work with these databases, the chances of to be published in journal goes up. If you work with a Google Scholar or something which is not having a quality check, even if in the dimensions, so what will happen? So then there are a lot of questions will be asked. Then phrase searching, wildcard, and proximity operators. Try to understand when I say phrase searching. So allow user to search for article containing a phrase rather than containing a set known of keyword. Sometimes you can also use Internet of Things, IoT. You see, Internet of Thing. You can see the different Internet of Thing and health sector. So when I say Internet of Thing, you can go for like double quote. You can go by simple code. They have a different operations that wildcard and proximity operators are there. So you have to just go into the search engine, you check. So what is the use of these things? You just go through some material and means like some demo, and you can see there is a this double code has a meaning, without a double code has a meaning, like so that the databases will be different. You can see when I say Internet of Thing, you see 144,809 documents are there. Same word when I get this thing, there is no quotations. So what will happen? So it is 153,229. Okay, that means Internet of Things, when you put a double quote, it is a single word which is taken up. So that is why the number is that. Okay, that is called as wild cards kind of things. When we go for Internet of Things, any article which is have internet, it will capture things, it will capture. It is not a single word. It are different words, it will be taken. So that is the only difference. You find more number of articles, 150,329 document pages. So when I say Internet of Things means internet and of and things. That is kind of things the search engine will be reading. Then you can see here wildcard search. This is called as phrase searching. Okay, this is how the phrase searching is being done. So this is called as wildcard. Use an star to represent any number of letter at the end of the word. So like you are using star. Internet of Things. So I think when I talk of Internet of Thing, I can also go with this wildcard. Internet of Thing, and then I put a star. That means it will take things also into that. Okay. So when I put Internet of Thing, like 144,860. When I put Internet of Things, single word, then you can see there is 809. Okay. So what I'm trying to say, wildcard means like sometimes there are Internet of Thing. So there may be common word being used. When I put thing, it will be considering all these words and doing for this search. Then this is proximity search, called as urgency operator, search for words that are used close to each other without being in an exact phrase. You will try record that contain your term in any order in a specified number of words each. Example, near 5. Means what I'm saying, if there are big words, I can say if there is a word like 5 alphabets are like that. So what it will do, it will try to collect all these words and it will go for the searching kind of thing. Means it's called as proximity search. Means that the nearby words it will be taking off and doing these such kind of things. Then combine the keyword from each concept. So you can combine keyword for each concept using Boolean algebra, as I said, and or to create comprehensive search strings. Like as I said, the first step we get the keyword. Second step we get the synonym word. The third thing is go for a string formation or the search query. So you have to use and or. So what I am doing, you see the synonym words we are using or, but it is double quoted. Social media or online platform or social network or Internet of Things. Then what I am doing, I am using and, but that is the whole concept, because I am trying to understand what is the impact of social media on mental health of teenagers. So that's why I am using and or. So that is the one which you have to think of. Okay. So like this is how the search query is being developed. Hope I think you are getting the way I am trying to explain. This is Boolean operators. I think you must be knowing set theory and retype record that include all or record that contains at least one. Then exclude terms. You can use not also. So these are the options which are available. So which will give you getting your relevant databases. Then consider additional qualifier or modifier. So add specific qualifier or modifier to further refine your research. What I am trying to say, like. If I go for additional words like longitudinal studies or 2023 or India or urban population, I can go with this thing. so that I narrow down. Like if you get more than lakh of these databases, you cannot manually. It's very difficult to do that. For narrowing down, you have to use additional qualifiers or modifiers, so that it will be narrowing down below 1000, so that I can do the filtering kind of processes. Then use a variety of databases and search engine. So normally it is suggested that if you are doing like a PubMed, I don't think so. You should use Google Scholar, Scopus, Web of Science, Dimensions you can use. But the problem is there is a problem of while merging, because the kind of structures which is there inside their databases are different. So sometimes the databases will be lost in that case. So adjust your search strategy based on specific requirement of each platform. But you find number of people are doing merging these databases. Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, a number of databases have been merged. You can go and search for any paper, you get all these things. Then there are limits in the databases. I was talking about exclusion, inclusion. There are a number of things are there. So you can define looking at the quality, you can do it there only, or you can filter at the end of the databases also. So these criteria can be basically utilized to narrow down your databases, so that it comes something which is means is doable or feasible to do the literature review. Then refine and iterate your research. What I say, if you get more unwanted databases or bibliographic databases, so what will happen in your search query? So what you have to do, you have to refine your search query, and then you have to use modifier, or you have to use additional word to narrow down, or you can iterate your search. So that is why it is an art. Okay, so that is why the objective is to get the best quality relevant people at that particular research. So getting that, it's a very subjective one. So that is why you have to refine many times. So repeat the process until you find a satisfactory set of articles that address your research topic. Then you go to the Scopus. I think I don't know how much of you have these license. So you go, there is a that export these databases. All these you can say matrices are there in Scopus. You have to just put means the button means tick these buttons. If you tick these buttons, or they will be asking you in which format it will be downloaded. The format is given in the upper part: CSV, Mendeley, BibTeX, all these things, plain text. You put the one which you are going to use in the kind of bibliometric softwares you are using, like VoiceBeer, then Bibliosiny, then RStudio, bibliometrics. There are a number of things are there. You have to check the kind of format they require. So then you download it, then you work with that. Then you can see how to merge the data. As I said, if you are working with Scopus and Web of Science, there is a there are a number of codes are there in RStudio where you can merge these things. But you require like write some syntax for that. For that, you require at least some learning experience. Like if you get it at only, then you can merge. And this is a code which is available. If you know working with the syntax, or if you are quite used to R, so it is a syntax, you just copy paste and you can do that. Then bibliometric, I think Pritchard state that bibliometric is the application of mathematics, statistical method to book and other media of communication. When I say syntrometrics, that is Nalimov and Molchenko define syntrometrics as application of quantitative method with the analysis of science viewed as an information process. When I say syntrometric is the study of measuring, analyzing science, technology, and innovation. So there are a number of other terms are using right now. So you can check off infometrics, syntometrics, bibliometrics, webometrics, cyprometrics, ultrametrics. These are all kind of metrics which is available. So when you talk of bibliography, largely reference. When you say this is called a cybermetrics, that is whole internet cyberspace. When I say this is syntometrics, science of science. When I say altmetrics, that is alternative use, downloaded web citations, not from the scientific worlds, from the other world, from the social media kind of things. When I say webometrics, that is web presence, visibility, impact, link page, and document. So there can be a number of metrics can be studied, but these are quite interesting thing to look into. And so if I am looking for citations in coming days, then these are the stages of writing a systematic literature review. So as I said, when means if you are going to write a SLR, so the first step is stage one, like make of research topic. As I say, identify your research problem, define a title, then you go for a systematic analysis. Create a study plan, review study tables of contents. Then stage three, from the protocol, you know that you have to develop some protocol information and the procedure method used for data analysis. Because you know, like if you are doing a SLR in any field, you have to register yourself. Because you know, like number of people are doing SLR simultaneously in other part of the world. So not to be replicated, you have to register. There are a number of platforms to do the registration of SLR. Stage 4, data extraction, that is summarizing finding of study, extract data. Then stage 5, quality and validation, meta-analysis of finding. You can go for number of things. So developing a review protocol, you know, like in sciences, like study selection criteria used to determine which study are included or excluded. That you have to before you start your SLR, you have to define what will be the inclusion and exclusion policy. That's the review protocol. Study selection procedure, how the selection criteria will be applied, how many assessor will be evaluate each prospective primary study, how disagreement among the assessor will be resolved. You know, like once I get the bibliometric databases according to research question, I have to filter the databases. Once I filter the databases, what I do, if you have defined a protocol, okay, like this is the criteria or the selection criteria, it is to be included or excluded. So what exactly people follow, like there will be three authors. So everyone will be having a single databases. They will be making a decision. This will be included. This will be excluded. This will be the three people will have different databases. The one which is not excluded, again the people will be the three people will be again discussing. Then they will be making a final decision. It will be included or excluded. So accordingly, following the review protocol and rigorous kind of things, you do all these things. Now this is an example of you know, like what we call as Prisma. Okay, you see what it is doing. I'm just trying to show you like they develop a search query. They got 147 Scopus databases, 1036 you can say Science Direct, then 69 you know, like Google Scholar. Then what is domain? What is the domain they have searched? That is called as you can check here. That is called as title, abstract, and keyword. Approach is thematic. So again, what the total is 1258. Then the domain is article title only. So if approach the duplication, gray literature, conference proceeding, book chapter, this is called as screening. That is called as then it reduced to 469. So excluded is 783. Okay, you can check here means how the process of Prisma is being followed. Okay, so the Prisma is basically this is a guideline. Okay, which gives you means like primary provide guidance for reporting systematic review or evaluating the effort. So the full form of Prisma is preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis. So you know, from the bibliometric analysis, what we are trying to do, we are narrow down our databases so that we read the whole text and do the analysis. For that, for SLR, meta-analysis or meta-synthesis, you have to follow the protocol which is called as Prisma. So Prisma is the full form is like preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay, try to understand. So the first step, you have to identify the databases. As we have identified from three databases: Scopus, Science Direct, that is then Google Scholar. So we are getting 1252. So again, what I am doing, I am only using article title. Then the other approach I am following like duplication, gray literature, conference proceeding, book chapter. These are all filtered from the database only. So 783 paper is deleted or excluded. So we have only 469 paper. So these particular process is called as screening, second step. Third step is called as eligibility. I was talking about the third step is abstract reading. So approach metadata, that is pre-article and review article. Okay. So what I am trying to do, I am reading the abstract. Okay, I am making a decision like which to be included, which has not to be excluded. Okay, then I am writing only 443. Okay, sorry, I am getting 126, excluded is 443. So then again, domain is abstract and main body scheme reading. What I am saying, then the next step, what I am doing, I am reading the abstract, whatever, like 126. What I am doing, I am getting only 107, which is to included, then 18 is excluded. Then again, what I am doing, main body reading approach, then I am doing some assessment. So we are excluding 15. Only means what I am trying that there will be 3 authors which will be reading that particular thing. And they will be making a decision which to include and exclude. So we are getting 89 papers. So paper included for my analysis is only 74 because 15 is again excluded. So only I have to get these 74 article and do the analysis. What I am saying, this is the process which you have to follow in the Prisma. So like you try to understand, we get a 1000 something bibliometric databases. From there, I am using a guideline or a protocol which is already fixed, which is called as Prisma. The full form is Preferred Reporting Items for Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. Okay. So we are translating these 1252. We are using a screening approach. We are excluding all these articles, 783 article, we have 469. Again, what we are reading the abstract. Then again, what we are doing, metadata, pre-articles, review articles, these are again excluded. Then 443, that is again is equal to 126. Again, I am using the abstract and main body scheme reading. Excluded article that lack means that kind of assessment which you are looking. So you are excluding 18. Again, what I am doing, main reading approach. Again, I am trying to exclude. So 15. So finally, I am getting 74. So usually you have to get a number from 50 to 100 for SLR. Okay. So like doing a reading 100 article and synthesizing that is a very big task. So it takes a long time to do that. Okay, so this is the steps which you have to follow. And sometimes what we do, like we 2-3 authors will be doing, and then finally we will be checking the final result. Like 3 authors are doing in a different means compartment. So then we will be coming up and check our databases. The one which is similar is included. Again, we will have a discussion. It's to include or exclude. So then again we can narrow down. Okay, I think inclusion and exclusion criteria, as I said, targeted respondent, like you can use certain thing or sampling, study restricting participants by limiting availability to specific cohort, or core demographic data. You can use breed, disciplines, sex for horse, country, behavior, training, management. Even if you can go for questionnaire like online, restricted. So there can be number of things which you can use for inclusion and exclusion criteria. As I have already discussed that Prisma preferred reporting items for systematic review and meta-analysis. Somebody may be asking you, what is the full form of Prisma? Basically, this is a protocol which has been developed. This is for preferred reporting of items for systematic review and meta-analysis. It's an evidence-based minimum set of items aimed at helping scientific author to report a wide array of systematic review and meta-analysis primarily used to assess the benefit and harm of healthcare interventions. Same thing you can see here. This is how they go for. Okay, you can see 8. You can see screening. Then you can see record screened. Then record excluded. So 148. Finally, they got only 50. Okay, this is the step which you have to follow. Okay, so there are 4 steps which you have to do inside Prisma. You have to identify the databases, then you have to integrate it, then you use a screening procedure, then you have to use selection eligibility criteria, then you use inclusion policy, you got a final database. So our objective is to narrow down the kind of databases I have and get the best quality people. So you have an opportunity to select which one is the relevant or best people in my particular field if you go through these processes one. Then there are a number of other ways you can look, like in population or clinical research, they go for PICO, that is population problem, intervention exposure, comparison outcome. Accordingly, also they can go for means the number of filtering processes. This is the whole SLR. Okay, as I was talking about sample selection process, element of the process steps, then desired attribute of sample selection in systematic review, that is structured, comprehensive, transparent, then identifications, search for relevant search items, application of non-content related inclusion or exclusion criteria, then organization of screening process, application of content related inclusion, exclusion criteria, including quality assessment, disclosure of research item included in systematic review. So this is all about the kind of these research questions, epistemology, and a lot of things are there in interpretations. Okay, that you have to follow. So I think this is means like there are a lot of other things are there. Means I have just given you idea. You know, like I was not prepared for this talk, but what happened? Manoj sir having some urgent meeting, so that's the reason I'm just stopgap arrangement. I don't know how much I have helped you, means giving an idea in this literature review. But still, like if you have any questions, I can take and I can make you understand. But for that, you have to experience yourself. Means like doing all these things. But try to understand this is the step which each and everyone as a researcher has to do it. And if you don't do it, you are missing. You have a lot of missing links. Okay. So thank you very much. So you can also text me if you are not able to put it in audio. You can text me so I can answer. You know, there is no minimum number, but there is a convention that usually we go from 50 to 100. So there is no minimum and max number. You can, if you have better people, you can go for that. But it is all about the time you have. Like you don't have much time to go through it. Normal, it should be minimum. We used to take 50, and it can goes up to till 100. But there are many research which is very focused, concise, where you didn't get much article. So you can go for even if 15, 20. But if you go for meta analysis, you require only 9 articles to do that. These kind of for doing statistical analysis. For SLR, it usually the convention is from 50 to 100. Yeah, like what is the minimum number of paper we need to read for a research paper? Once you finalize your database, so like you have to read the whole paper. Now, as I said, you have to read the abstract and the whole text. So it will be around 100 something. You have to read that, then you make a decision, I have to include or not to include. Right now, there are a number of AI are there where it can help you to read a paper quickly. Okay, you don't require to read the whole paper. So these are things which you can do. Okay, hope I have given you answer. Any more questions? Any more questions? Anyone? So feel free to ask the question, or you can put it in your this thing in your text box also. Any questions? Kindly ask me. Anyone from any? Feel free to ask. Okay, so after reading the paper in social science, how to do? No, like what means what kind of paper you are reading? Is it a qualitative research or quantitative research? If you are reading a qualitative research, you can go for narrative analysis. Okay. If it is qualitative, okay, so you can develop a narrative research. You can use some content analysis kind of thing you can do, and you can create a narrative, and you can look for the evidence for and against, compare, contrast. Some numbers are there. You can also play with that. You can make a story depending upon your research questions. Okay, so there are a lot of things are there which you can do. So like this is like if you are writing a SLR. Okay, so if you cannot go for a meta analysis, you can go for meta synthesis, or you can go for narrative literature review kind of things. Hope I have given you answer. Yeah, 100%. You can combine the best method is a mixed method. Okay, so you can go for qualitative and quantitative. And in case of SLR, you can create a narration, or you can translate the findings into good graphs and tables, and you can do a lot of kind of analysis on that. So it's all about means answering your research question either in form of content or in form of numbers. So if you use a mixed method, if you have the paper like that, you can go for that. So the best way to look into doing SLR is go to the mixed method kind of thing. No. Like for thesis writing, should we go for multiple SLR? Like as I said, you have a research problem. You have to translate into research question. There can be 4 research question for a single SLR. So SLR, systematic literature review, a single SLR has to be done. You cannot go for multiple, because if you have a multiple problems, so then you can have a multiple SLR. But as you have means like a research problem which is for your thesis, so you have to go for only one single SLR, but with a different kind of research question. Like you will have a 4 research questions, like 4 research objective, 4 research question. You can go for that. Hope I have given you answer. But while writing your thesis, so try to put in literature review, try to put some work from Biblo, then some work maybe from SLR, some work maybe from meta analysis or meta synthesis, depending upon the kind of work you are doing. But in thesis, the literature review should consist of all these 3 things, so that it's a complete review you have done. Like you are having a broad databases, you have narrowed down means yourself into something which you are looking for. So that is why all these things would be shown in your, you can say, in your thesis. Still, we have more time. Any questions from anyone? You can text your question. Or anyone add to any his views. Means like if you want anything more in coming days, but we'll try. So whatever workshops we are doing every Saturday is something which is related to research in a different field, and these are all free. So that is why there are a lot of hiccups will be going on, but still we will manage it. If you have any comments or criticism that should be added in coming days, we will try to add. Okay, so hope there is no questions. So we will be just concluding this workshop. So I was supposed to give a thank giving to Professor Manoj Das, but it was not possible. Maybe in future we'll be looking forward when he is free, to repeat this particular workshop maybe in coming days. But thank you everyone for joining this workshop and uh, taking interest means in be part of these workshops, and in future also we are coming up with a lot of innovative free research workshops, so you can join, and then you can have your own experiences in doing your research, and the only objective of doing these workshops is to add values to the quality of research which is being carried out in different part of Odisha or different part of India, which are in very periphery, who do not have access or exposure to a lot of techniques, tools, kind of things. The objective of doing that, so that everyone get exposed and do better work, because we know the our economy or our country is looking forward for quality research and creation of good quality knowledge in coming days. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is the end of this session.
Thank,
Okay.
thank you.
Vishwa, you want to add anything? You can add if you want.
No. Thank you very much. This is very useful. Thank you.
Okay, done.